If you've been following the SoCHiology podcast since I launched it in 2021, you will be aware of the Reverse Psychology sub-series, which is basically unpopular Chicago opinions from Chicago. You will also be aware of the SAT, the SoCHiology Awareness Test, where I quiz random Chicagoans about different questions in regards to Chicago history and culture. Well, this Black History Month, I'm introducing the ChicaGOATS sub-series. This is basically a Black Chicago history blitz that details and gives brief summaries of different Black Chicagoans that lived in our city and did great things in their respective careers and left a huge impact not on the city but on the entire world. So without further ado, let's get into it. From Harold Washington to Harold's Chicken and everything in between and beyond, this is SoCHiology. Immediately off the Bishop Ford Expressway, there's a community college right there. You can see it, but I'm sure most people never pay attention to it unless you were going there or you know someone who've gone there. But the college is Olive-Harvey Community College and is part of the City Colleges of Chicago school system. Originating in the 1950s as the Finger and Southwest campuses, respectively, of the City College school system, the two schools merged in 1970 and were renamed Olive-Harvey. It is the biggest college by acreage amongst the City Colleges of Chicago, with 67 acres. The namesake for this college is from two Chicagoans who fought and died in the Vietnam War, both of which were posthumously awarded the military's highest honor, the Medal of Honor. Their names are Milton Olive III and Carmel B. Harvey. Milton Olive III was born in Chicago in 1946. He enlisted in the Army in 1964 once he came back to Chicago after spending his high school years in Mississippi. He was deployed to Vietnam a year later in 1965, and later that year in October, he sacrificed himself to save his squad mates when a grenade was thrown into their direction. He was 18 years old. Milton Olive III was the first Black American soldier in the entire nation to receive the Medal of Honor in the Vietnam War. On April 21, 1966, at the White House, President Lyndon B. Johnson awarded Olive's Medal of Honor to his father and his stepmother. Two of the squad mates that he saved on that fateful day were also in attendance. In addition to Olive-Harvey College, there is also a lakefront park that bears his name, Milton Lee Olive Park. Carmel B. Harvey was born October 6, 1946, and grew up in the Hedgewood community on the far east side of the city. He joined the Army in 1965. In 1967, he was killed in action when he charged an enemy turret to save his squad. He was 20 years old. The auditorium at George Washington High School on the far east side in the Hedgewood neighborhood, his neighborhood, is named in his honor, and he currently rests at the Cedar Park Cemetery in Calumet Park, Illinois. These two Black men of valor sacrificed their lives to save the men that were beside them, regardless of the color. They were awarded the Medal of Honor for it. We glamorize the Medal of Honor today because of video games and movies, and don't get me wrong, I love first-person shooter video games myself. But it's important to remember that this is real life, and these were real people. These were teenagers. These were young men. They were 18 and 20 years old when they lost their lives. The Chicago Vietnam War Memorial is on the Chicago River between the Wabash Street and the State Street bridges. At that memorial, you will find the names of every single Chicagoan that fought and died in that conflict, including Olive and Harvey. All of these men were a small and innocent part of a larger geopolitical war of greed. The American military suffered over 200,000 casualties in the Vietnam War, and understand casualties include killed in action, wounded in action, missing in action. That 200,000 estimate includes all of that. If you want to just look at killed in action, you're looking at roughly 60,000 young men that lost their lives in the Vietnam War. Another Chicago that we talked about on this series, Fred Hampton, including Dr. Martin Luther King, including Muhammad Ali, including many other influential voices from the Black community, all spoke out and opposed the war in Vietnam, and none of them believed that any of these young men should have been sent over there in the first place. So next time you're on the Bishop Ford Expressway, next time you're driving down 100th Street, next time you're on Woodlawn Avenue on the far south side, and you see Olive-Harvey Community College, keep in mind what these two Black men, men of valor, did and what they sacrificed, and give them a spiritual salute. If you enjoyed this podcast, I ask for two things and I will love you forever. Number one, please engage with us on social media. So like, share, subscribe, and comment on whatever platform you're listening to it on. And number two, please make sure you pass it on to a friend who will enjoy it as well.